Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. I am currently working on a picture book page for Minty and Macky. So, I suppose, as with any time that I work on just about anything, this is spoilers, but I doubt you'll mind too much. Also, this isn't really the sort of content where you need to watch, if it's content at all. It's always just rambling. Taking a chunk out of life. And not immortalizing it, but extending its lifespan. Letting it breathe, be fruitful and multiply. Letting a thought spiral out. And echo and echo and echo. I didn't start this last night. I believe I already had it sketched out a few days ago. But I started lining it last night on a call. I do a lot of calls. I don't like to be alone when I draw. Oftentimes I'll listen to YouTube videos or I'll listen to audiobooks, though less so nowadays. I used to listen to music when I draw, but I find that there's too much energy. I get too excited and then I want to get up and dance, or I start having too many emotions to really handle. Engaged calm, I would say, is a good feeling for drawing. But I love being on calls. I love they're interactive. I love that it's social. Participatory. With this page, I felt myself sort of not float into it, settle into it. I was nervous about starting it, just a little bit, because I wasn't sure that I could do it right or do it justice. I wasn't confident on my ability to execute, but I ended up approaching it more loosely. When I first started, I had those very thick, clean lines that I tend to do. I say tend to do, but one of my things is perpetually throwing in texture and extra lines and just a little bit of mess to give it character. But these lines were all much cleaner, and I cut into them with the eraser, using the eraser that's not even on that lip. And here, I almost said level. You can usually judge how much sleep I've been getting lately by how often I fumble my words, mix them up, trip them up, mispronounce. When I start tripping over my own tongue. Presumably that's just about everybody, but I've never really taken stock of it. I made pasta sauce last night. We had a bunch of tomatoes, so just boiled them all down. Basil, oregano, olive oil, salt. Ideally, I'd like to be finished drawing this by the end of the month. There's about 2 weeks left in August. I think I can make it. But we'll find out. The end of the month due date really is arbitrary. I probably wouldn't be able to put this out until sometime in next year. But I find a sense of structure in deadline. Of course, there's a sense of structure in deadlines. Deadlines are structure, that's what they do. That's like saying I find a sense of structure in a bookshelf because it organizes things. That's what a bookshelf is for. I find a sense of structure in a calendar. That's what a calendar is for. I find that deadlines, no matter how arbitrary, help me focus. They give me a sense of where to go, how to organize my days. I find them soothing, I suppose. The where and the when, the how. I used to know how to sign all the W questions in sign language. Where, who, when, what, why. But I only remember who. And that's just, I remember who, I remember what. Where, when, and why, I don't remember. But if I still have it correct, who is like, you purse your lips a little bit and you make a hook with your pointer finger and you kind of like squeeze it down, like in front of your mouth. And then what is you put out your open palms and go side to side. Assuming that I have it correct. Don't cite me for anything on that. I've been practicing a lot of piano this year. Well, a lot comparative to how much I used to play. Previously, I wasn't really interested in the instrumentals of songwriting. I just wanted somewhere to write, somewhere to put lyrics. But I've definitely become more invested in it, interested in it. I tried to record the boat song the other day. It's the Coco Minty song that I keep saying that I'll record and put out. And I will. But there's just a few piano notes that are a beat or two off. So I'm gonna have to go back and re-record it. And what it is that in the first little section, line, something, at the end of the line, it's like, right next to me. But I wasn't singing while I played the piano. I just had a metronome in my ear. Because, I want the sounds isolated so I can control them and separate them. And with the singing, if I'm playing piano, I'm not able to fully focus on it. So I may have a bit of a tone that's a little bit off or something that's a little too loud. So I'd rather have the piano just by itself, because that way I can go in, record singing on top of it, just get all the beats down. And that's in a separate layer. And then I listen to those two together while I sing and try to nail the exact inflections and volume, etc., that I actually want. It's like doing line work on top of a sketch layer. But what I ended up doing was I made the piano too even. Instead of having that little rush and then hold where it's like do do me, it was just do 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 do. So I'll have to account for that next time, because you forget to pause or rush or hesitate for the voice when there is no voice. At the very least, I do. I wonder if other people spin their canvas around as much. I feel like I make myself a little dizzy sometimes. It's also bizarre how second nature it's become. I know exactly how much to adjust the canvas for the right angle that I want. I don't even think about it. Which, of course that happens. I've been doing digital art. I've been doing digital art on Procreate on the iPad since I was 14, I believe. I'm 23 now, so that's 9 years. But it's strange to realize when something's become as natural as breathing. I might have talked about this another time. I feel like I have, but I could be wrong. I've definitely spoken about this with friends. When it comes to flipping left and right side, for example, of what I mean, let's say Mimsy is wearing a bow on her right, our left, right? If she's facing us, it's on. Somebody's walking by. If she's facing us, it's on our left side. But if we flip around and she's facing away from us, it's on our right. And there is, earlier on in art, at the very least for me, there's this temptation to just keep drawing the bow on the left no matter what direction she's facing. But now that I've been doing this for years and years, and this doesn't just apply to specific characters, it applies to anything in general, I don't have to go back and correct. I don't have to think about it or really hesitate to spin something around. But the thing that trips me up is when I realize that I've flipped it so quickly that I'm like, did I do that right? That can't be right, can it? It doesn't feel right. That doesn't seem right. But then I check and I flip around in my head and I see that it is. The doubt persists longer than the problem. I feel like I'm being too harsh with the way that I'm scribbling this in. Perhaps not. For the sake of consistency, I'll keep the background light as I do this. But I might end up deciding that I want to go back and redo it. Maybe not. I suppose I'll see how I feel by the end. More often than not, I find that when I decide to hesitate on a decision, whether it be art or anything else, though art is the best example here. What ends up happening is I end up making the same decision that I would have made anyways, only slower, only with more doubt. Someone told me, this was probably months ago, they said that I'm very confident with the way that I make my lines. And I am, but if I weren't confident, if I were to hesitate and stare and stare and think and stare, all I do is the same line, except 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds later. This isn't advice. You can't speak for anyone else, but it's where I find myself at. Hesitancy. It's a little different with traditional art, though not entirely. But with traditional art, there's no undo button. There's no easy erasing. You put down a line, solid black India ink, and it will stay there. And you can paint over it with white. You can try and blot it out, but you'll still see it, at the very least a little bit. If not the color seeping through, the texture standing out, whatever you use to make it go away. But digital art isn't the same. Not even slightly. It's like video games versus real life. You can try and fail over and over with no consequence. I've been wondering if I'm allergic to fruit. Not all of them, but I've noticed that a lot of apples will make my mouth itch, or nectarines, or sometimes when I drink one of my beloved smoothies. And I sound ironic saying beloved, but it really isn't. I do love smoothies. Blueberry, banana, and Greek yogurt, or mango, or mixed berry. But kiwis. I've stopped eating kiwis. See, because pineapple makes your mouth sting a little bit, I assumed that that was just not only pineapple. Citruses like oranges or grapefruit, particularly sour ones. If you have maybe a hangnail and it makes its way in, it'll burn a little bit. But in the same way that some fruits are supposed to have a bit of a sting to them, or the same way spicy food has a bit of a sting to it, I presumed that that was just a quality of fruits. Perhaps a particularly acidic apple will just make your throat itch, but evidently that's not the case. It's not supposed to happen. And I looked it up, and there's something about some fruits being similar to pollen in a way, or at least the body reacting to it similarly. And if you have a pollen allergy, you might also have an allergy to these fruits. And look what's on the list. There's apples and nectarine, banana. And so I suppose I'll be keeping an eye out for that. There have been so many times growing up where I wish that there was just a pamphlet for normalcy, where you could check yourself against it. You could check yourself against it and see what's normal and what's not. Where do you rank on the regular scale? How are things supposed to be? Something like that would take out a lot of the fun, though. I really enjoy bringing up the smallest things, people, and saying, do you do this too? Are you like this too? I'll go around and quiz all of my friends, asking, do you do this too? Are you like me? And I end up with this little diagram in my head of relative normalcy, I suppose. If someone's hanging out with me, then I hope to God they're not normal. They won't last very long. Then again, and again, and again, and again, that asserts some form of normalcy does exist. That there is a default state, default person, which I don't believe in. There's only commonalities. But I do like getting that picture of a hypothetical average person. I suppose as well, you don't, as long as you're not trying to make some sort of statement on the world, you don't really need a true average. You don't need to quiz all 8 billion people on Earth, because the relevancy of the answer to your question is only people that you interact with. I mean, they're the basis for any relevancy. So, an effective average, bad stubbornness, but leaving room for change. Not but, and leaving room for change. Said you like me, I'll take faith in time. I don't want to sing that one. It's an old one. I think I wrote it when I was 16. Said you like me, I'll take faith in time. Want to tell you all my secrets, spill and spill and spill. Tell you what I try to forget, spill and spill and spill. Want to tell you all my secrets, all my pain, will protect you from the very same. We're 27 minutes in. I suppose now will be a good time to take a stretch, drink some water. As for you, good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever, whenever, and whoever you are. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.